So what do you think the root cause of NATO being so flabby is?
Lack of leadership in governments, lack of an understanding of war. Uh, there are not enough historians in government cabinets. The focus is always on accountancy, on money, on balancing the budget. And yet there's never any attention paid to quality, to the quality that's required to defend the realm, the quality that's required and the numbers that are required, and the added benefits of having a large army, because it's not just there to defend the country. It's a skills engine for the future as well. Back in the 70s, the British Army used to train the plumbers, the cooks, the managers, the electricians, the radio techs, the signalers. It used to train all these people, the car mechanics, the lorry fixers, the drivers, everything that went on later to become part of the civilian world. Instead, we started importing people from abroad to take on all those jobs. And now we don't have a skills base. We don't have an engine that creates and trains the tradesmen of the future anymore. We have to import them from somewhere else, which is sad.
That's a great point, Robin. I think we see that quite a lot with Israel. You've got that 3 years, whatever it is, in the army, and the guys that come out there are really like world leading entrepreneurs. And I've met a few myself. Those guys are really that army training really accelerates their development professionally.
Well, you go back to the 1960s and 50s even, and before that, and the army was always a place to put disaffected youth as well. So you ended up with an awful lot of young men who were rough, tough, adventurous, getting into mischief, and you put them in the army as an option. You know, okay, you're going to go to prison or you're going to go in the army. Which one is it? And an awful lot of people who were the older generation when I joined said, that's what happened to me, and it's what made me. So there's an awful lot of benefits to having this rite of passage to manhood coming from national service or voluntary service in an armed forces environment. It helped me. I mean, I joined when I was 15 years old. My home life had fallen to pieces. My education had followed. And it was an opportunity that I took with both hands. And it gave me a future which I would never have had otherwise.
I think that definitely goes along a lot, happens a lot in Ukraine, definitely now, of course. Almost every fourth guy there is into some kind of martial arts. I myself was getting trained in boxing from 19-year-old. Just tough people there, and very they're good at mechanics, they're good at fixing things. They make excellent workers, come to the UK working on building sites. I wonder if we could turn around our nation, Robin.
I don't know. What our nation seems to lack more than anything else now is leadership. People in government don't seem to have a strategic vision of the future. They don't know what they stand for. They don't have a philosophy. They're confused about whether they should be masculine or feminine, or whether they're born in the wrong body, or whether they should be spending millions of pounds on pumping drugs into people to change their gender, instead of focusing on what's good for the nation. I mean, that's just one tiny thing. They're focused on changing speed limits to 20 miles an hour in Wales, and spending £1,000 per signpost to do it, when people haven't got youth clubs, when people haven't got investment in young people, when they haven't got skills and trades and apprenticeships. But they'll spend hundreds of millions of pounds on road signs to change the speed to 20 miles an hour in places where, in the valleys where I live, it's almost impossible to drive more than 20 miles an hour.